This is a video on how to enhance your offer by using psychological levers. From the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. Also, this is part 5 of the whole $100 Million Offers series, if you want to call it that. So if you haven't watched any of the other parts before this, then you should go and watch them now. I'll put the latest ones top right, and then come back here for the rest of the information. And a quick one before I start, as I've said in my last few videos, a lot of this is raw information, so I'll be reading it word for word. So I'll be looking down here so that you get the full information needed and I don't miss anything. And also, if you're a business owner or you do anything to do with marketing, money, advertising, Airbnbs, then you should get pen and paper so you can jot down the things you think are important, because there's a lot of practical information in this book. And if you want to just read the whole book, then that will be top of the description. So the first thing, but wait, there's more. If you order today, every infomercial in the 90s. So that's just a little quote that was at the start of the chapter. And now this is like a whole story really about how Alex Hormozi and his wife went to like an event, a charity event, and it was something to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And yeah, this is them at the event, a story. Ben, the CEO of the charity, saw us looking lost and walked over. He took me by the arm to introduce me to some of the other donors. These were all men who were older than me and donating $100,000 and up without a second thought. The man he introduced me was one of the charity's biggest donors. He had built an ultra high-end jewellery and watch business. I'm talking $100,000, $500,000, $2 million plus rare status symbols that people buy only so other 0.01%ers know they belong. He had donated upwards of $700,000 in merchandise as prizes for the fundraiser that evening. Alex and Layla meet George, Ben said. He's been very generous with his time and money to the cause. George, this is Alex and Layla Hormozi. They're donating $1 million tonight to ASAS. I figured you are both good people and wanted to connect you two. Nice to meet you both, George said with calm, weathered eyes. He was in his late 60s, tall and sturdily built. You could hear his Eastern Bloc origins in his accent. He sounded like a man who had fought tooth and nail to be here, but had softened his demeanour for gatherings such as these. But the tiger with teeth and claws remained under the surface, ready to be called upon at a moment's notice. I felt like I understood this guy. Ben broke the ice. So, George was the one who got me to raise the price from $15,000 per ticket to $25,000. We had more demand than ever this year, but I took his advice. I cut the amount of tickets we sold and raised the prices. That's right, said George, content that this sage business advice had been followed. When demand increases, cut supply. He perked up slightly as we talked about money. This man had built his business from nothing and had found ways to sell things for extraordinary profits by understanding human psychology. I had long learned about supply and demand, but this guy was using its psychological underpinnings to fuel a fundraising event. You could take a tiger out of the jungle, but not the jungle out of the tiger. People want what they can't have. People want what other people want. People want things only select few have access to. He was dead right. They raised an extra $1 million that night before the event had even started by cutting the supply of tickets and raising the prices. On top of that, all the people were more qualified than ever to be big donors. The night ended up being the most successful night in the charity's history, raising nearly $5.4 million from only 100 people. That's $54,000 per head. Each of the items was auctioned off as one-of-a-kind items, and if you missed it, you would never have a chance again to buy it. Arnold even threw in some bonuses when 2 people would get high enough in the bidding, allowing the charity to get both donations. It was a masterful display of human psychology at work in a setting where people were knowingly overpaying for products. The products remained unchanged, yet within this setting, an item that wouldn't sell at a different venue for $10,000 sold for $100,000. That's how powerful scarcity, urgency and bonuses are. In breaking down how to use them to further increase demand for your offer without changing your offer is the purpose of this section. Author note: other persuasion powers at play. Scarcity, urgency, bonuses and guarantees were not the only persuasion tools being employed to get egregious prices at the fundraiser. They also used commitment and consistency, status, peer pressure, goodwill, celebrity endorsements, competition, etc. However, scarcity, urgency and bonuses are the only 3 I'll be breaking down in this book, as I believe they belong more with the offer and less with the actual selling, which I will talk about in depth in Acquisition Volume 4, $100 million sales. So this on screen is the delicate dance of desire. That's just what you call this section. So this is the whole diagram, supply and demand curve. So I'll just leave that for you to look at. Fundamentally, all marketing exists to influence the supply and demand curve. We artificially increase the demand for our products and services through some sort of persuasive communication. When we increase the demand, we can sell more units. When we decrease the supply, we can sell those units for more money. The perfect profit combination is lots of demand and very little supply or perceived supply. The process of enhancing your core offer is designed to do both of these things, increase demand and decrease perceived supply, so that you can sell the same products for more money than you otherwise could, and in higher volumes than you otherwise would, over a long time horizon. So this is a huge part of business, and look at all the top brands. Look at iPhone. It doesn't cost them $1,000 to make an iPhone. It doesn't cost Supreme thousands to make the jumpers. It costs them probably £30, maybe not even that. So it's all about supply and demand, like I said, scarcity, and making things like a status symbol. So if they're expensive, a lot of people will buy them just to try and look good and feed their ego and make other people think that they are rich because of what they're wearing. Now here's another diagram with a new supply and demand curve. It's all getting a bit complicated, but I'll just leave it on screen for you to have a look at. Author note: this assumes a regular business who is not trying to gain mass market penetration for some other strategic advantage. Desire comes from not getting what you want. In fact, I heard this quote that I love from Naval Ravikant: desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. It follows, therefore, that we only want things we do not have. As soon as we have them, our desire for them disappears. Therefore, if we seek to increase the demand or desire, we must decrease or delay satisfying the desire of our prospects. We must sell fewer units than we otherwise can. Let that sit with you for a second. Consider this example. We promote some 2-day workshops that are upcoming. First we whisper that it's coming, then we tease it with some of the benefits, then we shout that it is launching in a week. Then when we launch this amazing workshop, we have 2 supply-demand scenarios. Scenario 1, we sell 10 units at $500 cash each. Sell entire pyramid at price, all say yes. Scenario 2, we sell 2 one-day workshops one-on-one for $5,000 each. Skim top of pyramid with 80% not purchasing. It's worth noting that each of these prospects have a different buying threshold. In my experience, demand for services is non-linear. Instead, I've found demand to be fractal, 80-20. In other words, 1/5 of the prospects are willing to pay 5 times the price or more. In the example, I might have 10 people willing to pay $500, but 2 of them willing to pay $5,000, so I'd make more, have lower costs, more profits, provide more value and increase the demand in the remaining prospect base by selling fewer units. Think about how exclusive scenario 1 versus scenario 2 would feel. Think about all the people who would want to purchase but would not be able to. Would this increase or decrease their desire? It would increase it, of course. On top of that, if people see that others who were able to get in are loving it, it would further increase their desire, and the next time they would act with more urgency and be willing to pay more for something than they originally did. So now, in the aftermath of our second scenario, we still have 8 people who have unsatisfied desires. This increased their desire further, and to boot, we now have new prospects who weren't in the original pool who now want what we have. And then here's another photo, just showing what I just said really. The next time we promote scenario 2, we then open 3 spots at the same price and sell them all, still leaving some prospects with pent up demand. This is a continuous theme. And here's the other little bit to the bottom, which is now showing, again, what I just said just above. Conversely, if we was to promote scenario 1 again, the $500 price point, we would probably sell fewer slots than the second time around. Why? We have no pent up demand, all desire has been satisfied. When you pull the trigger too early, each successive instance we promote, we sell even fewer. Eventually we run out of sufficient demand to make even a single sale. This is the sad state many businesses find themselves in, always trying to generate more demand to make another quick sale. Hormozi law. The longer you delay the ask, the bigger the ask you can make. The longer the runway, the bigger the plane that can take off. We must endeavour to keep our supply and satisfaction of desire under the demand that we are able to generate. This maximises profits and keeps desire ravenous in our customer base. This is the real key to never going hungry. Now here are the summary points of everything I've just said in this whole entire video. The reason I titled this subsection Delicate Dance of Desire is that supply and demand are inversely correlated, in theory. If you satisfy zero desire, provide zero supply, you will not make money, and eventually leave people feeling rejected. No, it takes much longer than you think. Conversely, if you satisfy all the demand, you will kill your golden goose, and not know where your next meal will come from. Mastering supply and demand comes from the elegant dance between the two. If you sleep with your significant other every day, they have less desire than if you haven't slept with them for a week. We want the ravenous prospect, not merely the aroused. Therefore, understanding the interplay between these variables is key to enhancing your offer and the amount of profits you will make over time. Up to this point, we have covered all the things inside your offer that can make it immune to price comparison, transform regular services and products into things that people will find a way to pay for. It would follow that the next variable that can make your offer more desirable is how it is presented. In other words, the outside variables that position the product in your prospect's mind. These forces are often more powerful than the core offer. In the next section, Enhancing Your Offer, I will show you how I use scarcity to decrease supply to raise prices and indirectly increase demand through perceived exclusiveness, use urgency to increase demand by decreasing the action threshold of a prospect, use bonuses to increase demand and increase perceived exclusivity, use guarantees to increase demand by reversing risk, use names to re-stimulate demand and expand awareness of my offer to my target audience. I will define each, then give you examples of how to use them. We will use all these variables to enhance our offer and shift the demand curve in our favour, leaving our customers always wanting for more. We will start by tactically simulating fear of missing out, aka FOMO, through scarcity. So that's what my next video will be on. I think I have another 3 videos coming on the whole $100 million offer series, and that's going to be on, like I said, scarcity, guarantees, bonuses, each video per one of them. So if you don't want to miss them, then you should subscribe and turn notifications on so that you can see them when they're uploaded. Again, if you haven't watched any of the other parts, then you should go and watch them now. Otherwise, if the next part of $100 million offers information is out, then that will be on screen. But if that is not out, then you're obviously interested in becoming wealthy. So you should watch this video on screen now, A Guide to Wealth from the Wisdom of Naval Ravikant. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.